It is said there are many tales of the Silver Tower as there are folks of the realm with the wit to tell. Some are stirring stories of valiant heroes who overcame evil and saw justice prevail. Others follow bands of evil men seeking only power, or tell the tragic tale of defeat at the Gaunt Summoner's hands. The truth is that every tale of the Silver Tower is unique, an adventure full of terror, excitement, heroism, and horror. Now then, let us begin to tell our own. In a vast and statue-lined chamber did the champions first come together. Whether by the dark designs of the Gaunt Summoner or the vagaries of fate and destiny, each champion descended the winding stairs to face one another across a sigil-etched floor. How each had come to this place was an epic tale in itself. Why each had remained a secret known only to them. Yet it was clear for now, their paths were intertwined. It was then that the Gaunt Summoner's visage loomed above the champions in a blaze of unearthly light. In a booming voice, the summoner revealed that should the champions wish to win his boon, they would have to best his trials. Only in this way might they gather the fragments of the shattered amulet upon which his true name is inscribed. Do this, the Gaunt Summoner promised, and the champions would have whatever they desired. Fail, and they would be his prisoners forevermore. With this, the summoner faded from sight, leaving only his echoing laughter, and a glowing portal leading into the Silver Tower's labyrinthine depths. Entering the tower is the Knight Quester. Born into war by bolts of divine lightning, the Stormcast Eternals are warriors of vengeance. Each is a mighty hero reforged by the God King Sigmar into living weapons against the powers of chaos. The Excelsior War Priest. The God King Sigmar is a beacon of hope to the beleaguered peoples of the mortal realms. His is a warlike faith, for so the times demand, and his priests are warriors all. Dark Oath Chieftain. Not all come to the Silver Tower to battle the powers of chaos. Some, like the cruelly charismatic Dark Oath Chieftain, seek to instead win the Dark God's favor. Amidst the all-encompassing horror of the dominion of chaos, only the strong and ruthless survive. The Mistweaver Sire. Veiled beneath the sayings of illusion, the Mistweaver Sire turns her enemies' own minds against them. Little is known of this sinister figure, except she hails from Ulgu, the enigmatic realm of shadow. The energies of the portal surged around the champions and propelled them down a twisting tunnel of light. Moments later, they stumbled from the portal's exit into a strange new chamber. Regaining their composure, the champions squared their shoulders and steeled themselves against the dangers to come. Their first trial within the Silver Tower had begun. The chieftain was the first to step forward and explore the next chamber. The whirligig passage. The floor moved constantly in this place, clicking and whirring as it interlocked and spun apart in ever-changing configurations of crescent tiles and seemingly meshing cogworks. Inside stood 4 Kyric acolytes, men marked by the Changer of the Ways for their cunning and devotion. These warriors fight with blade, sorcery, and terrifying zeal. With them are 4 blue horrors, demon possessors of potent magical powers, horrors that can split when slain. Their mane become more spiteful with every division. The chieftain slays the acolyte before him with his war axe, followed by his broadsword. Satisfied with his first kill, he charges forward, slaying a blue horror. To his delight, 2 brimstone horrors appear where the blue horror stood. The Knight Quester, not wanting to be outdone by a servant of chaos, destroys a brimstone with his warblade, then moves forward and dispatches another acolyte. The Mistweaver moves forward and destroys another flame with her Aeolvan blade. Cast Glimmer Mist to protect herself. The others may also be saved, but that isn't her concern. She struck again with her blade, but the acolyte dodges her attack. The war priest rushes forward to help out the Mistweaver and dispatches one of the acolytes with his warhammer, his Griffhound following behind. The remaining acolyte moved forward to attack the priest, wounding him with his cursed blade. Blue horrors moved and attacked the Mistweaver, but she was saved by her Glimmer Mist. The Mistweaver once again cast Glimmer Mist to continue to protect herself and then cast Illusionary Assault, destroying one of the blue horrors. She then felled the brimstone horrors that emerged with her Elven blade. Moving forward, she used Illusionary Assault once again to eliminate another of the blue horrors. The priest raised his warhammer into the air and brought it back down onto the acolyte, wounding the foe. Feeling the sting of the damage he took earlier, he cast Sigmar's boon to heal the wound. Commanding his Gryph-hound to hunt down the acolyte, the hound ran forward, biting at the acolyte, damaging him again. The chieftain snorted in derision and moved forward, finishing off the acolyte using Death Blow to also destroy one of the brimstone horrors. His war axe dispatched another brimstone, while his broadsword killed the last blue horror. Not being finished yet and wanting to show his deadly skills, he took out another of the brimstones. With just one of the brimstones left, the Knight's Quester moved forward and got rid of it with his warblade. He then moved forward toward the glowing portal and explored what was beyond. Perilous footing. It was more treacherous than walking on shifting sands. Coins and detritus spilled away in rattling showers with every step. Inside the new chamber stood 4 more acolytes. However, the consequences of destiny brought forward the Gaunt Summoner's familiar Tweak, an imperious creature that is convinced he is one of Tzeentch's vast and terrifying lords of change. Undaunted, the war priest commanded his hound to hunt once again. The hound rushed forward, wounding one of the acolytes twice. The war priest followed his hound and then cast Light of Sigmar, wounding all of the acolytes and finishing off the half-dead one. He then rushed forward, grabbed Tweak, granting him a boon if he so desired. The chieftain charged forward and used his broadsword to take out one of the acolytes. Feeling the need for more destruction, he moved forward and made quick work of another acolyte with his war axe. The knight moved forward and brought himself to bear on the last acolyte, using his thundercharged strike to rid the tower of his presence. The knight then chose to continue on his journey. With no enemies to worry about, the Mistweaver moved forward, but she lost her footing and suffered a wound as her feet found some loose coins. Once again, the consequences of destiny struck. Blinding light engulfed the champions, a searing luminescence that manifested without warning and burned away all sensation. For a span of time that might have been seconds or centuries, the champions hung in that eerie void, before reality sprang back upon them with a fearsome roar. The knight explored the next chamber to reveal the way divides. With every step forward, the glittering mists thickened, heavy with half-glimpsed shapes and the shattered fragments of memories. Inside the center of the hall, the knight could make out the shadow of a Skaven death runner. This cunning invader has breached the tower on an errand of assassination. By poisoned blade and shadow magic does he seek to strike down his mark. He squints his eyes to find the Mistweaver he's looking for. The knight moved forward and raised his shield into a guard stance. He then used his warblade to deal 2 wounds to the runner, while his thundercharged strike caused 3 more. The chieftain, sensing a challenge, moved forward and brought his broadsword up to deal 2 more wounds to the death runner. The Mistweaver, realizing the assassin's intentions, cast Illusionary Assault, striking the runner for 2 more pieces of damage. Finally, the war priest commanded his hound to hunt the death runner. Once again, obeying his master, he inflicted another wound. The priest stepped forward and healed the Mistweaver with Sigmar's boon. Sensing he could try to find the way out, he skied to help the group pick the correct path. The death runner's form phased in and out of view until 2 death runners stood before the group. The new runner attacked the knight with his stab slicer, piercing his armor, wounding him. Another consequence of destiny occurred. With every footfall, the champions became ever more convinced they were being followed. Small and twisted figures scuttled in the dark, skittering along ceilings and flitting between shadows. Moment by moment, the tension swelled, the muffled cackles and frantic shushing less restrained until the champions felt they could endure no more. It was then, with a great shriek, that the scuttlings sprang their ambush. Vile nets of sticky strands splattered down from above, ensnaring the champions as the grots burst from the hiding to attack. 3 grot scuttlings appeared out of the dark. They are wily and tribal, half-arachnid beings whose poison and webs are the bane of the unwary. The chieftain used his broadsword, but the death runner he was fighting vanishes, breaking the illusion. Using his death blow, his broadsword claims one of the grots. He heads towards the real death runner and strikes it for another wound. The Mistweaver uses her elven blade to strike down the grot before her. The priest is also forced to defend himself and takes out the grot scuttling standing in his way. His hound bites at the death runner but fails to land a hit. With the death runner in front of him, the knight uses his warblade to end the deadly Skaven. Happy with the results, he moves on to the next exit. Before the group head through the portal, they choose a period of respite. While searching, the knight finds a gem of command, whilst the Mistweaver finds a death rune. Taking time to regroup near the door, the Mistweaver explores the next chamber. Abandoned nest. This chamber bore a beast's musky stink. Claw marks marred the walls, and gold glinted amidst the bones on the floor. The smell seemed to come from two Zangors, savage avian beastkin that have been warped into more pleasing shapes for Tzeentch. The Mistweaver moves forward and casts Bedazzle that stuns one of the Zangors. Casting Glimmer Mist on herself, she then casts Illusionary Assault, blasting one of the Zangors for 3 wounds. The priest moved forward, casting Light of Sigmar, wounding both of the creatures of chaos. Commanding his hound to hunt, his hound once again failed to cause any damage. The knight pushed his way past and used Thundercharge Strike to rid the chamber of one of the Zangors. He then moved around towards the rear of the next. The chieftain smugly strolls forward and cleaves the remaining Zangor in 2 with his war axe. He too moved forward towards the next chamber. Once again, the group took a moment to rest and search the chamber. The war priest found a sorcerer's shield, while the knight found Wraithblood. Stacking themselves near the portal, a consequence of destiny happened. A thick and cloying fog billowed up to engulf the champions, scintillating blue and purple vapours in which strange lights swam. The clouds shredded apart as quickly as they had come, but in their wake were left Karak acolytes who sprang swiftly to the attack. 2 acolytes stepped out of the shadows, while the Gaunt Summoner's familiar Bolt arrived. Bolt is a walking tome of forbidden lore, and the most mercurial of the familiar. The priest cast the Light of Sigmar twice in quick succession, wounding the acolytes, and then used his warhammer to finish off the one closest to him. Commanding his loyal hound to hunt, it leapt forward, ending the life of the other acolyte. The knight, seeing he wasn't needed in combat, explored the next chamber. The librarian. As the great golden portal swung wide, beyond was revealed a library that seemed stolen from some madman's dreaming. No ordered repository of lore was this, but a scattering of crumbled scrolls and forbidden tomes that ran riot in impossible profusion. At the champion's exclamations, the air grew thick, and there billowed a smoke within which myriad of colours shone bright. From that fume stepped the demonic librarian of that strange chamber, one digit laid upon his rubbery lips in a mocking appeal for silence. The knight moved towards the librarian, lifting his shield to take guard. Striking twice with his warblade, he wounded the vile chaos demon for 4 wounds. Once again, the chieftain spied a challenge and charged forward, using his broadsword to deal 3 wounds. He then used his axe to deal another 2, felling the librarian for good. Happy with showing the knight how things are done, he continued towards the next chamber. The Mistweaver moved through the chamber as though nothing had happened. The knight moved with the group towards the chamber and explored the portal. Searing beams. Stepping through a shimmering blue haze, the champions emerged in a profane temple to Tzeentch. In that place of worship, they beheld a great statue of a demon lord, whose avian gaze bespoke knowledge of dark and terrible secrets. At the statue's feet, the champions saw 2 great crystal prisms, each mounted upon an intricate clockwork dais. From these prisms spilled a searing light. Each beam leapt out like a searing river of power to scorch the walls black. Here, it seemed, was a puzzle of sorts. 6 acolytes, 1 blue horror and 1 pink horror, also awaited our champions on the other side. The knight moved in and raised his guard. Using his warblade, he destroyed one of the acolytes. The chieftain followed suit and moved towards the acolytes. With a combination of his broadsword and war axe, he eliminated another acolyte, followed by another. He felt a power surge through him as he learnt the skill of Lifebane. The Mistweaver moved into the chamber, tucking herself into the corner. First, she cast Glimmer Mist to protect herself and the others. Then, a brilliant flash filled the room as she cast Bedazzle, stunning all but the blue horror. She finally cast Illusionary Assault, killing another acolyte. The war priest, feeling as though he was falling behind, rushed towards the chamber, commanding his hound to do the same. The blue horror ran straight at the knight, using his blade to find a weakness in his armor, causing him harm. Then the consequences of destiny struck again. Here the champions came upon arcane ruins. Strange and unsettling these sigils were, crawling lazily across the walls, floor and ceiling. Each crackled with barely contaminated energies of raw sorcery, bathing the champions with an ever-shifting glare that seemed to seep into their very flesh. Another consequence of destiny happened, as amidst the coiling vapors a figure moved. A stranger approached through the shimmering murk, weapons drawn and readied, yet serendipity this was. Stepping into the light came not some monstrous foe, but another lost soul seeking freedom from this place. The Fireslayer Doomseeker appeared before them, ready to fight. It is said of the Doomseeker that his axe scorches the air with every swing, that he spits glowing cinders with every warcry, and the wrath of the forge burns in his glare. The chieftain, welcoming someone new to watch his victory, charged forward and with his broadsword removed another acolyte from the mortal realm. Using his death blow to wound the pink horror, he then used his war axe to wound the horror 2 more times. The Fireslayer Doomseeker moved forward and took care of the last acolyte. The Mistweaver darted forward and rotated the pillar and then cast Illusionary Assault to attack the pink horror, sending it back to the realms of chaos as 2 blue horrors took its place. The priest, knowing what was needed to be done, moved further into the chamber, commanding his hound to hunt, but his hound missed its target. The priest cast Sigmar's boon to heal the knight and started to chant, turning off the searing beams. Finally, rotating the second pillar. The Knight Quester used his warblade to destroy the blue horror before him, its death spitting out 2 brimstone horrors. The knight quickly dealt with those and then strolled towards another blue horror using his warblade to end its existence. The Mistweaver cast Glimmer Mist again to protect herself and her new allies, then wiped out a brimstone horror. She then cast Bedazzle, stunning the group's enemies, finally casting Illusionary Assault to wipe out one of the blue horrors. The Fireslayer used his runic war iron to take out 1 brimstone horror, then moved on to the next, finishing the last one with a throwing axe. The war priest chanted once again, stopping the beams while he rotated the one before him to face the statue, then commanded his hound to move closer. The knight then took the initiative, headed towards the second pillar, aiming it too at the statue. As the demonic statue at last shattered apart, blue flames roared from its sundered remains. Hanging amid those spectral fires was revealed the Gaunt Summoner, albeit a shadow of his true self. The demon favored the champions with an unsettling smirk, then raised one hand. Up from his outstretched palm there drifted a glinting fragment of the amulet which the Gaunt Summoner had spoken of before. This, proclaimed the ethereal demon, was the first piece of the puzzle, for on it was seared a syllable of his true name. Such words have power, he revealed, and should the champions gather them all, they would be able to bind him to their will, albeit for a few moments, long enough to demand his boon and to earn their freedom. Why should he tell them all this? Asked the summoner with a shark's smile. Perhaps it was just his nature or the caprice of Tzeentch. Perhaps they had earned such revelation. Or perhaps his fear of these interlopers was so little that he would hand them the keys to unlock his power, knowing that they would never be able to live long enough to use them. With that last pronouncement, the spectral creature raised his blade and darted to attack, the amulet fragment still orbiting lazily around him with the promise of rewards yet to be reaped. The war priest commanded his hound once again to hunt. The hound charged forward and attacked the Gaunt Summoner for 1 wound. He then moved forward and cast Light of Sigmar, once again wounding the summoner. The Fireslayer attacked 3 times with his war iron, striking the summoner twice, then bringing his Doomslayer axe for 1 more wound. The knight stepped forward, showing no fear, attacking the creature of Tzeentch with a thunderstrike, and then his warblade destroying the summoner with ease. Power surged through him as he gained the Battle Wrath skill. Our heroes won this day, with the War Priest and Mistweaver keeping their treasure, and the group gained a piece of the amulet that will set them free. They can't help wondering, though, if this first trial was perhaps a little too easy. Thank you for watching, dear viewers. If you enjoyed what you have seen, give the channel a subscribe and the video a like and share. Don't forget to tune in next time to see the continuing adventures of our heroes. Will they escape the Silver Tower and defeat the Gaunt Summoner? Only time will tell.